Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am your host. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys today because today I want to talk about being seen in your business as who you are, who you truly are, and creating a successful business around being yourself. So I want to dive right into this one today. I don't think it's going to be a long one because being seen really comes down to allowing yourself to be seen as vulnerable. A lot of us, we're putting up this mask of I'm so tough and I need to be perfect all the time, and my audience can't see me having a bad day or without the perfect hair, or, people can't know that sometimes I get sad and I cry, and one of the biggest things with being seen is we're afraid of being judged, or we're afraid of being rejected, or we're afraid of being unworthy of love if we show people who we really are. And I think that I've held that for so long. I've literally been the strong, independent woman for so long that for many years it was quite hard for me to show people the vulnerable parts of myself. It was hard for me to show up and cry, or show emotions, or show parts of myself that weren't perfect, or that maybe I was worried about or scared about. And I think the main thing that's turned up for me is like when you can show up and be yourself, and you can show up and cry, and you can show up and have a bad day, don't have makeup on maybe, or just be in your PJs. It's so freeing to know that you're not going to be rejected when you do that. In my life, I recently had something happen, and for the first time ever, it was so upsetting to me. And for the first time ever, I really reached out and got the support I needed. Normally, I would bottle everything up and, I might tell one friend and have a good cry. But this particular time, I reached out because I needed the support to so many friends. And in the space of a few days, I had cried to maybe 5 or 6 different people. And this is so abnormal for me. And I feel so free. I had, just from me being able to show that vulnerability and show what was going on, that has somehow rippled out to the universe, and I have so much support coming in that I didn't even ask for. I have so much care, so many people saying to me, everybody loves you. You're such a beautiful person. You have such a beautiful energy. You're so nice. Like, you're so beautiful to be around. And I wasn't asking for any of these things, but I was needing that support, and I was putting out there to the universe, it's okay for me to receive this support now. And it came flooding back in. And me doing that and allowing people to see me when I was vulnerable, allowing people to see me when I was upset, allowing people to see me when I was down, allowing that level of vulnerability has literally made me feel so free in the way that I show up online. Because before, I always thought that if I show who I am, people will think I'm needy, or that I'm a failure, or that I'm weak, or whatever the belief is for you. I'm not sure, but that's kind of what was coming up for me, that I'd be needy, seen as needy or a failure. And going through that process of having something come up and just organically needing that support and actually asking for it showed me that people aren't going to reject me when they see who I really am. People aren't going to push me away when they see who I really am. And having that, knowing that I'm still lovable as myself, knowing that I'm still lovable when I'm crying, knowing that I'm still lovable when I'm having a bad day, that has made me feel so safe and so free to be seen. And that has actually rippled out into social media. I'm not afraid of what people think of me on social media. And I never really was before, but now I'm showing up in a way that's got so much more depth and so much more grounding, because I know that it's okay to be vulnerable. I know that it's okay to be me. I know that it's okay to just show up however is in alignment for me. Because before, I was always like, okay, I have to be pretty niched. Everything needs to be the way it's supposed to be. You can't, everything's got to be perfect. And now I know that the more vulnerable I am, the more that I show people what's really going on in my life, the more that I show people that I have bad days too, the more people think I'm human, the more they relate to me, And that's transpiring into my business as well, organically, without me having to do anything. I'm not actually changing anything I'm doing, but by me being more of myself and showing up in all the parts of myself, whether or not I judge them as good or bad, just showing up as myself, that's having a ripple effect in my business. And that's allowing other people to see that they can show up as themselves too. So for me, what I would recommend, guys, if you're struggling with not being seen in your business and you're afraid to be seen, look at where else in your life you're feeling afraid to be seen. Like maybe you're like me, maybe you don't feel like you can actually show deep emotions like hurt or sadness or grief. And maybe because you're holding back onto that, maybe that's what's holding you back in your business. Or maybe for you, you don't want people to judge you. I'm just trying to think of something that I know other people have. You don't want people to judge you for being weird or different or whatever. So you don't show up online because you don't want that judgment of being weird or different or whatever. And if you can embrace whatever it is that you're truly afraid of and embrace that and start to show up through that and do the work on yourself so that you know you're safe to do so. Like it is a lot to do with having a calm, regulated nervous system as well. But making sure that you are just kind of being yourself, allowing that vulnerability, allowing yourself to show up even though you're a little bit afraid of the judgment. Get the social proof that you need that it's okay to be seen, you know? So okay, maybe you don't necessarily want to jump on in front of your audience and tell them something you think is going to be groundbreaking, but maybe talk to a few of your people in your circle and say, oh guys, look, maybe for you, you might see dead people. I do. And that is something that I don't tell everybody. Not, it just doesn't come up because it's just who I am. So it's not something I announce, but maybe talk to some of those people and say, hey, look, I see dead people. I communicate with dead people, and see how they receive that. And use that as permission to show up as more of yourself, because you will find that most people are going to respond really well to you being who you are and you being vulnerable and you saying, hey, look, I'm a little bit afraid to tell you this, but I've actually really tapped into my psychic abilities and I connect with source. And, share whatever it is in your heart in a place that is a little bit more safe to you. And it will give you that evidence that it's okay to show up that way in your business. Because that was the biggest thing for me, is in my actual life, I was so afraid to show emotion and to show that I'm not perfect. So in my business, that was holding me back because I was always trying to be perfect and do the right things. Whereas by leaning into that vulnerability that I have within myself and showing my own vulnerability, showing my own depths and emotions and fears and triggers, and showing all of that has really opened up my ability to show up and be seen for who I really am. And when you're creating a business, that's what you want. You want to be creating a business, showing up as you are, showing up as who you are and feeling safe to do so. And so like the number one thing I would say, if you want to show up online more and be seen, is to allow that vulnerability to come through. Allow that vulnerability to come through. Allow who you are to really come through. Now, I will say that doing some nervous system practices can really, really help this, because you don't want to do something that's going to send your entire nervous system into a shutdown response or a fight or flight response, give you terrible anxiety, make you freeze. You don't want to be doing that. So making sure that when you are showing up and being seen and maybe stretching yourself that little bit more than you normally would in your business and in your life, you want to be really conscious of where your nervous system is at, and doing simple exercises like taking some deep breaths, connecting into your heart space. They can really bring you back into your body if you do start to have a physical response to being seen in the moment. You might be wanting to do a live and then you start freaking out. Take that moment and get back to yourself. Even say on the live, let's all just do a collective breath, guys. Let's all just breathe together. And bring your nervous system back down to neutral. Show your nervous system that it's okay for you to be seen. because that's the thing that's probably holding you back as well. One, not allowing that vulnerability, but two, how you respond when you do. And if it sets off your nervous system in a way that freaks everything out, it's not going to feel safe for you to be vulnerable. So I guess being seen, it's coming with these two parts. It's coming with the part one of allow your vulnerability, and part two of really nurturing your nervous system in the process, and understanding that you want your nervous system to feel safe. You want yourself to feel safe in expressing who you truly are. So take the time, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, place your hand on your chakras, whichever ones are the ones that feel like they need the most support to you. Breathe into your heart space, get back into your body. You can take 10 deep breaths and then really open your eyes and look for 4 blue things in a room, or try and identify 3 noises you can hear with your eyes closed. Really just take that time when you're going through that sort of response where your nervous system is really triggered. Take the time to calm that down so that your nervous system learns that it is safe to be vulnerable, that it is safe to be seen. I don't want to go too overboard on this one, guys, but I really hope you've enjoyed this episode, because if you can allow yourself to be seen, you're going to be so much happier in your business. You're going to feel so much more seen. You're going to be received. You're going to be able to receive. People are going to gravitate towards you because they can really connect with you. When you're being vulnerable, when you're allowing people to see you, and when you're showing up the way you want to show up, that's going to show through, and people are going to connect with that. They're going to connect with your authenticity. They're going to connect with what you're putting out there, and it's going to elevate you and your business. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this episode today. And if you want to see more of the episodes or connect with me, follow me on Instagram, follow me on social media, listen to the podcast, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. And please feel free to send this episode to somebody else. I'm sure everybody would love to know a bit more about how they can really allow themselves to be seen and to show up more in their business. Anyway, guys, I look forward to connecting with you again soon.